Today on Prime Male Evolution, we're looking at something that changes everything. Take a good look at this chart. This is a conceptual illustration of female hypergamy. Hypergamy is the innate biological drive in women across the mating value spectrum to seek men who are higher in status, looks, height, income, and dominance than themselves. Hypergamy is hardwired into women by evolution. Throughout human history, a woman who paired with a taller, stronger, higher status, more dominant, and more resourceful man dramatically increased her chances of survival and those of her children. Those women who settled for less often paid a brutal price. That ancient survival mechanism is still running full force in women's brains today. In the age of social media and dating apps, and the resulting artificial globalization of the mating market, this instinct has been supercharged. Every woman now has short-term access to the top 5% of men in her city, her country, and even the world. And look what happens. 95% of female romantic and sexual interest gets laser-focused on the top 5% of men. On the apps, women are only engaging with the same tiny pool of polygamous chads in their city. The bottom 80% of men receive essentially zero attention, and the pickings are slim for the bottom 95%. This isn't a gentle slope, it's a massive cliff. Top 5% men know this. They gladly date down with average women for variety, novelty, and easy access. This behavior is in line with their evolutionary mating psychology. They dangle the possibility of commitment, keep multiple women in rotation, and string them along as part of their digital harem. Meanwhile, average women in their prime years spend their most fertile, attractive window taking turns sharing these same top men. Often these average women are convinced they're dating these chads, and that commitment is just around the corner. Then they hit the infamous wall in their late 20s and early 30s, and suddenly, the top 5% stop pretending. This is the harsh reality behind female hypergamy today. Now, we'll go through a second chart. It breaks modern dating into what it actually is. Not two groups, men and women, but three completely different realities. Group 1. Women. Group 2, the bottom 90% of men. Group 3, the top 5 to 10% of men. Let's walk through each one. Group 1, women. For women in their teens and 20s, even average ones, dating is experienced as a form of selection. They open the apps and get flooded. Likes, messages, and match requests pouring in like a tsunami of male thirst. Their game is filtering, trying to find genuine commitment while avoiding burnout, low-effort hookups, and unsafe matches. They are instinctively aware of their limited window of opportunity. They are also aware, even though they're reluctant to admit it, that their mating market leverage is closely tied to the virtues encapsulated in the term purity, age, dating history, trauma, etc. Their primary challenge is quality versus quantity. Too many options, but most are, in their eyes, worthless. Women in their prime can't afford to waste precious years on the wrong man. So many remain single, engaging only with the few men who meet their artificially inflated standards. Unfortunately, this dynamic leads many of them to hit their 30s with trauma, high notch counts, and a reduced ability to genuinely pair bond. Group 2, the bottom 90% of men. Now look at the middle row. This is the reality for the vast majority of men. Dating for them is a pursuit. They're grinding just to get any visibility at all. Their daily experience is invisibility and rejection. Dating turns into a numbers game. They swipe on 65% of female profiles, hoping one of them will lead to a date. It rarely does. Their likes are sent into the void. Ghosted. Passed on. Surveys show that women find 80% of men unattractive. The bottom 80% of men rarely get any attention from women at all. No texts, no eye contact, no smiles. These men are treated as background noise or as annoying utilities. Men in the bottom 50% get completely ignored or even risk getting shamed, ridiculed, reported, or put on blast in group chats and social media for approaching or reaching out. The men's primary challenge is visibility and differentiation, fighting like hell just to be noticed against an army of other men. The bottom 50–60% of men are the group that gets completely erased when women give dating advice. They don't exist in the minds of women when they talk about dating. If they do get mentioned, it is laced with annoyance and shaming language, suggesting creepy, inappropriate behaviors. Group 3. The top 5–10% of men. And then there's the top tier of men. For these men, dating is leverage and abundance. Women are throwing themselves at them. Their experience is choice and advantage. They pick and choose from a wide pool of interested women. Their main challenge is selection and commitment, deciding whom to invest in while managing attention. These men are in no hurry to settle down because they are on a completely different biological clock than women. They spend their teens, 20s, 30s, and sometimes 40s dating casually with multiple women, stringing each of them along for the sake of variety, novelty, abundance, and easy access. When they do eventually settle down with one woman, it is usually someone significantly younger who is in their own socioeconomic bracket. Now look at the bottom of the chart. It says it plainly. Universal dating advice is ineffective. One size does not fit all, because each group is operating in a completely different world with completely different rules, constraints, and outcomes. This is why most dating advice is not just meaningless. It's actively insulting to the bottom 90% of men. Women talk about too many options, ghosting, cheating, and emotional unavailability, as if every man experiences the same thing. They don't. The vast majority of men experience the opposite: close to zero options, constant rejection, and a desperate desire to actually build something real. Women cannot see that they are victims of their own hypergamy. The apps and social media have convinced them that the top 5–10% is the bare minimum. Women who objectively are in the 4 to 6 SMV range are deluded and genuinely convinced they are 8s and 9s. Average women are not attracted to average men, so they waste their prime years cycling through the top 5 to 10% men, while millions of good men quietly opt out and disappear. Check out my video on the 2 walls, where I dive deeper into the concept of the wall for each gender. The only ones truly happy with this broken system are the top-tier men, and the corporations making billions off the loneliness, the apps, and the dysfunction. Brother, if you're in the bottom 90%, stop pretending the game is fair or shared. It never was. Stop listening to generic advice written for people living in an entirely different reality. Build yourself into a man so strong, so focused, and so valuable that you no longer need validation from a system designed to keep you invisible. Drop a comment. Which group's experience matches your reality the most? Share this with someone who still thinks dating advice is one size fits all. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more raw truth that actually helps men see clearly. This is Prime Male Evolution. You're in your prime. Act like it.